What is up, Bears fans? Welcome to Chicago Bears Huddle Podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. Guys, we're going to talk schedule. We're going to talk way too early predictions. You know what? As much as we're going to do it, and we are going to do it, it's so difficult to make predictions at this point in the year because no one knows how the offense is going to settle down. No one knows how the defense is going to settle down. No one really knows how the teams are going to settle down. And no one really knows yet what will happen because no one's seen anything yet. We don't know how the coaches are going to... The coaches were brilliant with the rooks. They were fantastic with the rookies, weren't they? You know, Bieniemy, absolute star. Dan Rauscher, Dennis Allen, Ben Johnson, all amazing with the rookies. But working with vets is different. We don't know how they're going to react to the new coaching staff, you know, to Antoine Randall et al. So, you know what? It's interesting. It's going to be interesting. And we don't know how quarterback's going to settle in. There's certain teams on the roster who have lots of questions on the schedule, who have lots of questions over their rosters already. You know, so you got a five-way quarterback battle maybe in Cleveland. You've got no quarterback in Pittsburgh, although you've got Mason Rudolph, who's about as much use as this empty can of Coke. Here, or other brands are available. You know, so look, who knows? Who knows how the season will pan out? The NFC North is obviously, I think, going to be one of, if not the best divisions in the NFC, and if in the whole the NFL this season, with four teams really going head to head and knocking the snot out of each other once again. Let's start. Let's go for it. And guys, all the time, I'd love to know at the end of the video, you know, what in the comments, drop me a comment. What do you think the record will be? Way too early. Record prediction, which, you know what, I'll let you off if you predict now like 17-0. And then obviously later, close to the time you want to change it, I'll let you. Anyway, let's look at this. Let's look at this schedule, shall we? You know, we'll start with the Vikes at home. Monday Night Football, guys, what a time to start. What a way to start. Excited for the start of the season. Excited for the Vikings on Monday Night Football. And you know what? I think this is the best time to play them. I genuinely believe that this is the best time to get a game against the Vikings out of the way because of the fact that they will not have had any competitive football yet. They won't know what JJ McCarthy is going to bring. It's JJ McCarthy's effective rookie year, even though it's his second year because he missed whole last season. You know, it's his first time, obviously, coming back to Chicago. It's his first time, quarterback in the Vikes in the NFL. I just think that they will be a situation where the Bears will be too powerful for the Vikings and will win that first game at Soldier Field, at home, in front of the TV cameras. It's going to be 1-0, baby, coming out of week one. Confident prediction, that is, 1-0. Look, Lions away. Look, I think Lions, you know, in the Motor City, at Ford Field, I think, whatever. It's going to be tough. They're a good side. As much as it pains me to say it, they're a good team. You know, you've got to have respect for them. They've still got some very good players in Detroit. They've still got St. Brown. They've still got Jared Goff, Aiden Hutchinson. Interested to see how he comes back from his injury. But, you know, they've still got Dan Campbell, who is a brilliant head coach. But I suppose the big interesting thing from this one, the big talking point is how do the Lions respond to losing Ben Johnson, to losing Aaron Glenn, to losing Antoine Randall, to losing JT Barrett? How do they respond to losing all those coaches? You know, big changes. Kelvin Shepherd, John Morton now in their key positions. I think the guy's name is John Morton. It's going to be a fascinating game, a fascinating watch for me. I do think the Lions will still win it, unfortunately. I think they, you know, with it being on the road, if it was at Soldier Field, I'd be a little bit more confident. But because it's on the road in Detroit, I think we'll probably lose that one. Cowboys week 3. Look, I've got to say, I hate the Cowboys. Absolutely serial hater of the Dallas Cowboys. Cannot stand them in the slightest. They have the minister of choke himself, Mr. Dak Prescott. Yes, they've got George Pickens in that trade. Yes, they've got CeeDee Lamb. Their running game ain't great. I genuinely think this is a game that the Bears will win. It's at Soldier Field. The Cowboys, to me, are not a threat this season. I think it's a win. It's 2-1 coming out of week 3. Now, we've got the bye in week 5 after the Raiders game, which we'll talk about in a moment. It's a bit early. I'd prefer the bye to be a little bit later, mid-season. You know, give you kind of a time, you know, mid-season to take stock of things, of where you're at, what you need to do, what you need to tweak, what you need to improve. But look, hey, it is what it is. Get a chance to go to Las Vegas. Get a chance to play the Raiders. Get a chance to party in Las Vegas after we beat them, hopefully. Look, I've got to say the Raiders again are an uncertainty. They've got Geno Smith as their QB. They've got Ashton Genty. What will he be? Will he be this generational talent? What will Pete Carroll be like? I mean, the guy is obviously a top head coach. He's won Super Bowls. He's got to Super Bowls. But is he past his best? Is he past his sell-by date? That is the question. So for me, I reckon that's a win. I honestly think we win that one and we come out of week 4 going into the bye at 3-1. I just do not rate the Las Vegas Raiders in the slightest, guys. Remember, guys, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Then coming back after the bye, it's the Washington Commanders. It's time for revenge. It's that horrible Hail Mary from last season. It's that blown lead. You know, I think I heard a story the other day on one of the pods. I was listening at work. I think it was a CHGO, or maybe it was, I don't know, perhaps it may have been one of the other ones. I can't remember. Maybe it was Bears Central. I don't know. But they were talking about how if you fell asleep watching NFL highlights when you woke up, that would probably be on. It's the stuff of nightmares. It's constantly on a loop, isn't it? That Jaden Daniels Hail Mary that was tipped, I think, by Tyreek Stevenson into the end zone. So I do think this will be tough. Jaden Daniels is a good player. They've added Deebo Samuel. They've added through the draft. They've added through free agency. They are going for it this season. I honestly believe the Commanders will be pushing hard this season. I just feel that will be a step too far. With it being in Washington as well, with them having the extra weapons, I do think that the Commanders will probably win this one to go. So it'll be 3-2. Week 7, it's the Saints at Soldier Field. Look, the Saints are an absolute car crash. They really are a car crash. Who's going to be their starting quarterback? What is the situation there? Obviously, Derek Carr has retired. A team in cap hell. A team that I think will stink this year. A team, well, maybe. What are they going to do? Are they going to tank for Arch? Could be a possibility. Like I said, who's going to be their quarterback? Is it Spencer Rattler? Is it Tyler Shugg? Who's it going to be? I mean, genuinely, you look at their depth chart and you look at their quarterbacks. Tyler Shugg is currently listed as QB1 or on some places. I mean, the ESPN have him as QB1. Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, Hunter Deckers. There's no one there that kind of fills you with fear. I mean, do they go out and get Aaron Rodgers? Does Rodgers go to Pittsburgh? Does that egomaniac ever make up his mind? But I do think that's going to be a win against the Saints because it's Soldier Field, because the Saints are going to stink this year. I do believe that that is a game that the Bears will win. Ravens in Baltimore. Unfortunately, I do think we will lose this game. Why? They've got Lamar Jackson. They've got John Harbaugh. They've got a scary defense. They've got Derrick Henry back this season. The Ravens, I think, will be one of the forces in the AFC this year. I think they'll win the AFC North. I think they will probably go to the AFC Championship game. Maybe Lamar finally does it, beats Patrick Mahomes, takes them to the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens are probably one of the strongest teams in the AFC this season. So I do think that, you know, we haven't faced it. We don't tend to face anything like a Lamar Jackson in the NFC and the AFC North. He's a cracking quarterback. He's a very talented quarterback. You know, despite the choke allegations thrown against him, the whole shade thrown his way, I do think he is a very, very talented player. So I do believe that is a win for the Ravens, unfortunately. So we come out of that week at 4-3. Delicate balance here, guys. Could go either way. Will nerves be going? Nerves will be jangling? Possible. However, Bengals away, another AFC North opponent. I've got to say, the Bengals do have a good offense. Of course they do. They've got Joe Burrow, they've got T. Higgins, they've got Jamar Chase, they've got that long-haired tight end whose name escapes me now. But their defense, obviously, they're probably likely to not have Trey Hendrickson. He is likely to not play for them this season or be traded. Given what's been said, given the statements that have been made, could he be a Bear? Maybe. I do think, however, this is a game that the Bears will win. I think they will win. I don't rate the Bengals. I really don't. I just think they won't have enough talent. They won't have enough on their defense to stop our offense. And yes, that's putting pressure on Caleb and Rome and DJ and Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland and DeAndre Swift and Ben Johnson to produce. But hopefully they do. And like I said, this is why it's a way too early prediction, because we don't know. We haven't seen the offense yet. But I do think that is a win for the Bears. Giants at home, I think that is another win. The Giants, I think, will stink this year. Russell Wilson as QB. I think Brian Daboll will be out of work. Even if it's not Russell Wilson, it's Jackson Dart. Is Jackson Dart really an NFL starting caliber quarterback this season? Probably not. They do have a very good defense. Obviously, Abdul Carr, Kayvon Thibodeau, for example. I think it'll be tight, don't get me wrong. I don't think it'll be an easy victory. I think it will still be a victory for the Bears, meaning we are 6-3 going into that game against the Vikings in Minnesota. I've gone back and forth on this one. I really have, because they are so hard to predict. What will JJ McCarthy do? Will he still be quarterback by the Vikings by week 11, or will he have blossomed? What do we see from JJ McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell and the rest of the Vikings? I'm going to go, though, for a win and a sweep of the Vikings to come out of that one at 7-3. Steelers at Soldier Field next up. Look, at the moment, their quarterback is Mason Rudolph, a man who is about as effective as a chocolate teapot, a man who is, to the NFL, I don't know, what a Fiat Panda would be to a Formula One or an IndyCar race. I think their roster's not strong. They've lost their best wide receiver in George Pickens. They've lost their best running back in Najee Harris. I've still got Caleb Johnson, who the Bears were interested in. They've got Jalen Warren. They did get DK Metcalf. TJ Watt, I think he's on the down trial. I think it is a game that we win. I think it's an easy win for the Bears. I do not rate the Steelers. They've got a mediocre head coach, mediocre Mike. I do think this is going to be a victory for the Bears coming out of week 12 to maybe leave us at 8-3. I think that'd be a fantastic record, wouldn't it, at that point? Then we got the Black Friday game, week 13 at the Eagles Lincoln Financial Field, playing the Super Bowl champs. I honestly cannot see this being a victory for the Bears. I just think that the Eagles will have way too much. They've got an awesome defense. They've got Jalen Hurts. They've got Saquon Barkley. They've got an awesome receiver core. I just think at home, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender again this season. Nick Sirianni is a fantastic head coach. I just can't see anything there but an Eagles victory, unfortunately, in Pennsylvania. So I think we do the 1-1 against the Pennsylvania teams. Packers at Lambeau Field. And I know Seth freaking Rollins would tell us we want to win because we want we want Caleb Williams to be undefeated at Lambeau Field. Hopefully. I think this will be a split. I think we will win one and lose one against the Packers this season. Quite how that works out, I don't know. Realistically, you'd say we lose at Lambeau, win at Soldier Field, but you never know. That didn't happen last season, did it? So, look, I think it's a split, that one. A split. The Browns sandwiched between the Packers. What a poor, horrible place for the poor Browns. The Isle of Misfit Toys. Five-way quarterback battle. Who's their quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is it going to be Mr. Sleazebag himself? Who is it going to be? That is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Look, they've got Myles Garrett. Of course they have. And he's a fantastic player. But I just think this is a game that the Bears win. The Bears win this game coming out 9-5, I think, coming out of this game. I hope it's Shedeur Sanders. I hope we get to rub his arrogant, cocky, narcissistic face in the dirt. I think he's probably one of the most overhyped, overrated quarterbacks to come out of college. A man living off his dad's legacy. A man with a gob on him, the size of his ego, which is huge. I think it's a game that we do win. And I think it's a game that we put them to the sword. I really do. We've done the Packers. Look, the Niners in week 17. I'm going to be honest with you. In this game, I don't know how this one goes. It's 10-5 coming into this game. Niners, who knows what you get with the Niners? They've got Kyle Shanahan, brilliant offensive mind. There's a lot of talk that Ben Johnson could be the next Kyle Shanahan, the next Sean McVay. They've got Robert Salah back as their defensive coordinator. They've got some very talented players on their defense. Nick Bosa. They've got Fred Warner. They've drafted well. Again, I don't rate Brock Purdy. I think the guy's overrated. I really do. They've still got Brendan Ayuk. They've still got Ricky Pearsall. They've still got Christian McCaffrey if he's fit. And it's at Santa Clara or whatever it's called. It's Levi Stadium. I think this is a game they win. I think they win this game. Unfortunately, leaves at 10-6 going into that final week against the Lions. I think the Lions game, I think we win it. I think we win it because it's a Soldier Field, because we want to get that playoff place. I think we do get a playoff place. I think we don't get swept by the Lions. I think we do beat them. And it's 11-7. That's my record prediction. I think it's 11-7 coming out of the out of this season, and we go to the playoffs. How we do in the playoffs, I don't know. I'm not going to predict that at this point. That's way too early. But I think it's an 11-7 record. As to how the North finishes up, guys, I'm going to say that we finish second, unfortunately, to the Lions. I think the Lions will still win the division. And I think it's either be the Packers third or the Vikings third or the Packers, some order of that one. I personally will go Vikings third, Packers fourth. That's what I think. But it's going to be a tough division this year, as it always is. It's a mad division, the NFC North. It really is. But I think we'll finish with an 11-7 record on my way too early prediction. Guys, get your thoughts in on your way too early record predictions in the comments down below. Guys, it's been a pleasure speaking to you as always. We'll be back with more videos, more content here to giving you a UK view on our Chicago Bears. Guys, if you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's bear down. Catch you later, Chicago.